In this video, we're going to be talking about watched files and joins. And more specifically, we're going to be looking at using them to get around a pretty common problem in microanalytical geochemistry, which is that the data that gets uploaded into a map may not be the finished version of that data. There may be additional corrections or changes that need to be made as things proceed or as you get a better understanding of what you're looking at. And so it would be nice if there was a streamlined way to get those updates from the Excel file or wherever you're making those initial updates into your map. And so today we're going to be looking at one way to do that. Now we're going to be using the tutorial dataset here, so if you've already been through the tutorial, this should look familiar. And before we go any further, I just want to go over again what we have here. So we have a couple of images here. One is this small yellow area and one is this big green area. And then we have this shapefile data set that has the .shp extension and is called tutorial data. And in the last video, you may have moved these points so that their x and y coordinates reflect the x and y coordinates of the analyses that were made in the image. Now, the problem here is that the shapefile contains the x and y information, but the CSV is what will actually be updated if you ever make changes to your Excel file or your underlying data set. And so we need a way to link the additional data in that CSV to the x and y coordinates in this shapefile. Now, to that end, we're going to need to make a copy of this shapefile to start, and we're going to need to re-import that CSV file. Now, I want to just make note here that if I remove this layer, it's still on my hard drive because I saved it as a separate .shp file. It's just not being imported into the map. And so if I want to re-import that after I've removed it, what I can do is go up to this Add Vector Layer button and browse to the location of tutorial data.shp and hit open, add, and now that data is back in my map, albeit all the display properties that I assigned to it have been stripped off, and it is back to as it would look if we initially imported a raw XY coordinate data set. Now, what we're also going to want to do, as aforementioned, is import that CSV file. So microQGIS _tutorial _data. Hit open. We're going to use all the defaults that we used the first time, and we're going to check this watch file box. So what this does is that as long as QGIS is looking at this CSV, it will take note of any updates that are made to that CSV and then import them into the map when the map is next opened. And so what this does is that if you ever make changes to your Excel sheet where your data is held and then save that Excel sheet to the CSV, the next time you open your map, those changes will be reflected in the map as well. So we're going to hit add. So now we have microQGIS tutorial data and we have our shapefile tutorial data. And you'll notice again there is that mismatch between the shapefile data points and the CSV XY coordinates. Now, to get the data in this CSV file that is being watched by the mapping program into the shapefile, we need to do what is called a join. And rather than overwrite information in this tutorial data, I'm going to export it as a separate shapefile. So we'll call this joined file and make sure it's saved as an Esri shapefile. And then we're going to hit OK. We can turn off this tutorial data now. And what we want to do next is we want to open the attribute table on this joined file, this file that we're going to join the CSV data to. And we're going to want to go up to the Organize Columns button and essentially remove all of the columns from the shapefile except for the analysis number column, which is going to be a unique identifier for each row. I'm going to hit OK. And now the only information we have in this shapefile right now is that row. So we're going to hit close. Just make sure that's there. Yep. And then we're going to open up properties and go down to joins. And here we're going to hit the little plus button to add a new style join. The join layer we want is the microQGIS tutorial data. The join field is going to be analysis number and analysis number. We have some other options. We can say, hey, we want to add a prefix to every column that gets added. So I'm going to do that. That's a useful feature. And then we're going to hit OK and apply. And now if I open the attribute table for that shapefile, you can see all of these columns have join underscore and then the respective column name from that CSV file. And so this is how you can get information from a CSV file into a shapefile while preserving the shapefile's X and Y coordinates.